Alright, how-to video on the Harbor Freight how-to video on the Harbor Freight 5-drawer rolling tool chest. As you can see, I already have one there, and then another one right here I just picked up. They're having a sale. I think it's normally $239.99. I got mine before New Year's, and I used the 10% off coupon, picked up the first one. Yesterday, I was just on there goofing off, looking around, and I noticed they had a better price. It was at $199. I liked the unit, so I went ahead. I was like, what the heck, I'll go down and get another one. Then I can put all my tools in these units. This is an old server rack. That unit up there is a very old Cobalt unit back when Lowe's first brought the stainless steel Cobalts in. I do have a base to it. It's at my mother's house, but it's getting a little long in the tooth, and it was time to upgrade. So let's get to it and figure out how to put this thing together. Comes with a small bag of your parts here. These are just for the wheels, and I'm dropping them all over the place. So on this you have 2 casters with a lock, and then 2 fixed casters. The ones with the lock, they do swivel. And these are actually quite beefy. I was looking at it. It's only welded on one side here. The interior part is not welded, but for what I'm going to use it for, I think it's going to be just fine. Let's go ahead and start putting this thing together here. There's something I should probably do. There's a mat. I should probably take that mat off. So it comes with a side drawer. We're just going to put all the hardware in there. That'll work. Let's roll this over and get the mat out. We got access to it. Flip it back over here. Let it stick out where we can get our bolts in. These nuts, the first one has a square end on it, so it'll lock into that hole underneath. Now, something I did notice building the first one, on this swivel one, you got to pretty much center the swivel part in with the bolts. I'm using a ratcheting wrench, and it seemed like if I went to one side or the other, there wasn't room to get the ratcheting head on. Here. I'm not going to bring this in tight, just going to bring it into where it keeps that square part in the box, where I can still got some play room to kind of move this around. Loosen this one a little bit. Still wiggles. Something I am noticing on this one is the first one I put together, these heads went right in the groove. This one doesn't seem like they want to. It looks like they're just a little big. Which I guess there's a pro and a con to that, because once it does go in, it's going to lock in, but it does seem to give you a little bit of a fit here. Something else, that box there, the hydraulics that hold the lid, they were already installed on the lid when I took it out of the box. This one, the hydraulics are not. You actually have to install them. So just notes. And I bought them within 2 days, 3 days of one another. So it could sit in a warehouse somewhere and could have been made from a different lot, I guess. Even though I did buy them relatively at the same time. I think this issue here is the powder coating is just so thick on this one. Because that one went right in. Here I'm just going to try to center it where I've got about the same amount of room before I lock it down. Here, the other one. Hardware does seem to be good. Now the nuts that go on the base have a little nylon lock on the end of the tap, so there is no split washer or lock washer. The nylon seems to do pretty good. I've never had one come loose. It's definitely snug on this one as far as getting the square part of the nut in that little hole. And there is some adjustment room there. They all belong to the hole, so you can move these around a little bit. Not that I think that really makes a difference, but it is there. hear that pop in. So it's definitely snug. Another base. The rollers are another piece of steel. Hit the bottom of the cabinet. Oh, big base. So what they've done, base of the cabinet here has been doubled, and this allows a little bit of playroom back and forth when you set the caster, as you can see here. So that adds a little strength to the bottom. And I have a lot of stuff in that cabinet. And my concrete here is very cracked and very uneven. And it seems to roll very well with all the weight in it. It doesn't seem to rock and twist either. It is a bolt together, so I was thinking it would twist a little bit more than it actually does, but it seems very rigid. So, like I said, I liked it enough to go down and buy a second unit. Let's just pop these on top here. There we go. Put this back over here. This one seems to be smarter than that particular unit. We'll that we got now we'll do it. This one's a little easier, so we'll put a little bit more tightness on this one because it doesn't have the roller on it. So you can cinch this one down a little bit. You definitely want to get this edge here of the caster in line with this piece. If you get them, it's like a car when you're lining it up. You don't want it to truck one direction or the other. Just try to get the caster on as straight as you can to the base itself. Cantilever here so I can get my hand in there. Yeah. Definitely a little tighter fit. You can hear them snap in. Definitely tighter. I'm just going to try to make it about the same as the other one. bit more. Definitely snug. But let me do the work with you. You wouldn't have to pop the rim over that lock bolt and mess it through. You gotta get it to the bottom so it doesn't spin the bottom. Now on that one, I had no extra hardware. This one, it looks like I do have extra hardware for the feet. I had just enough because the caster hardware in both of these came in separate bags. The hardware for the uprights, the handles and all that was in the large hardware bag. Something else, not that it makes a difference. This one, the casters box was in the top shelf along with the steel and the rails. This one, they had the steel rails in the styrofoam above the box and put the casters in one of the drawers, which maybe it was a different day on the assembly line. They just decided to put the casters in the drawers that day. Now I'm just going to go back, verify that I have them all tight. Just verify all these. That should be good. Now let's roll it over and get it on the floor. Now the side rails. You'll see, let me set 3 of these down. Now this is for the 5-drawer unit. If you notice, it's not equal spacing. You got 2 holes on the end, a hole here, and then 2 holes on this end. The shorter distance between these holes go down. They also go to the outside. And just like the last bolts, these have a square end on it. There is no washer. To there. It takes 4 per side. Four. And 4. Got a handy little ratchet, and that is my furnace. I have a oil fire furnace, and I'm a firm believer in it. Oil heat is the way to go. No heat pump where it blows cold air on you. I will say the hardware here is pretty decent quality, because once you get it started, you can take your fingers and you can just spin that all the way to the end without even needing anything. It will just, the thread pitch seems to be really good. Here we're not going to tighten anything up. Just gonna put them on loose. Get them close. Because you're gonna need you're gonna need some maneuverable, just a little bit, to get this to slide in once you get the 4 uprights in. Grab another upright. Really impressed with the bolts. I don't know if you've ever heard of Grizzly Industrial. About 15 years ago, I bought some tools from Grizzly, and my major complaint with the Grizzly stuff was bearings and the hardware that it came with. Just really not good hardware. Not good at all. Thread stuff just didn't, nothing wanted to line up, none of the holes lined up. Where in this unit here, everything lined up perfectly. I had no alignment issues whatsoever. And for the price, you really can't beat it. Next upright. All I'm doing here is I'm really not slugging them up. I'm just giving it just a little bit of a turn, just so it's not so loose. See how that pulled that to the left a little bit. Still wiggles, so we're good. Like I said, just keep in mind, the smaller distance goes down. And again, I'm just going to give them a little bit of a turn. I'm not tightening them at all. They literally still move. I just don't want it completely like a piece of spaghetti. Okay, now that we have our 4 uprights in, we need to put the support rails in that actually carry the toolbox until we get the upper bolts installed. So what I did on the last one, and it seemed to work, these are your side rails. The side rails don't have a notch cut into them, plus they're shorter, so it's really not like you can put them in the wrong spot. Something that we want to start looking at right here, your tray, okay? You want to keep this in mind as well. The tray and the handle need to go on the same side as the caster, the side that has the casters. And my drawer just moved over here, so I need to pick that up. So in my particular case, you can see how the cart, this side is the side that you use to turn. Well, that's the side you want the handle on. That way the cart can move this way. Okay, back again. For whatever reason, my camera just keeps cutting off. So we have to align this with that. So this is our rail. You might be able to get both of these started. Lay it by yourself. It'll just hang there long enough to where you can kind of hold it. Now take your back rail, put that on, and just get one nut on it. And it also helps to grab a nut. I'm using my knee to kind of hold the tray. Just get it started. You need some playroom. I'll take this one up, get it into position, and you have to spin the bolt to where the square part aligns with the drawer and the cabinet, the side rail. We're just going to put it on finger tight for right now. Let's get our other side. Other side. All right. Now our back and rear rail, if you look here, there's a little tab. And that little tab is where the box, the toolbox, comes back and sits against that. So I'm just going to set this directly on top of these. You'll see what I mean. This flat part of the steel actually rides on the top of this rail. That's why I was saying don't over tighten it, because that moves this way, and if you pinch it in this much, it doesn't fit in there. These can all be left loose, because until you get that upper box on it, you need a little bit of playroom. Spin the cart. Get the other side. again, you're going to drop the rail. Let me get this spun around here where you can see. We're going to drop the rail and let the rail slide on top to where it rests on our two side rails. Alright, that's it. Now we need to get this in position. In my case, I want these to set side by side, so I have the handle on that side with the caster. So I want the casters on this side, tool thing on that side, so I want the face to be on this side. It'll go either direction, so you know, if you want to put it on that side, be left or right, it doesn't really matter. Doing this by yourself, the last time it was a little tricky for me because you literally have to pick it up and slide it into the cart. Let me see if I can slide this down a little bit. Get this where you can see. And we're literally going to pick this thing up and slide it down through the rails. And it needs to rest on these supports. I did take the drawers out of it to make it a little lighter. It's very difficult to see what you're doing. There we go. Because you're kind of holding it. And like I said, it sits in those. It's pretty simple. I have the key here. Alright, we got the cabinet door up. This one seems to be very fiddly getting the key to go in. Now see, that one just went straight in. Just seems very fiddly. Seems to be variations in the quality. Now on mine, over here, I'll put the handle in the lower hole. You could just as easily put it on the upper hole. It's not going to make a difference. I guess I was putting water. Now they do ship corner pieces that go in the corner. I didn't use them on the last one. They actually want you to put this on the inside. Really can't figure out why. So again, we're not going to use those. I will use those as brackets on this side, and I can use a shelf or something like that. But for them to be in here, it's really not needed. And just like the bottom, you have 4 in each corner. So go ahead and put all 4 in face here. you get this one, you can kind of look at it. You can tighten these up. Two for the back. We're also going to need a 13mm socket for this one here because there's another bracket that's in the way and it prevents me from using the wrench. I'm going to use only the bottom one because I know that. I've got 2 nuts. I'm holding that. Here's where we're going to need the socket. By my hand first. Like I said, the hardware is pretty good. You can just put them on right with your finger all the way to where they get some of the snow. And I guess I can look at where this goes. Here. Down there. Let's get 2. So that's that corner. That's that corner. There was some hardware. Maybe this isn't extra hardware. I think they sent this for the shocks. So in my case, the wheel hardware also has the hardware for the shocks. It looks like we're going to need a wrench. So let's see what size that is on the end of the 13mm as well. Looks like 12. Yep, it's 12mm on the shock, 13 on the nut.